The internet may be taking the place of the daily newspaper, but radio still rules the morning commute. And in the world of talk radio, Sacramento enjoys a very special place. Many big talkers got their start somewhere on our local dial. And this cradle of talk is not done nurturing national careers.
News 10, Eyeball News, good morning.
Rush.
What people should be outraged about.
Imus.
What's wrong with these people?
Morton Downey Jr.
Glad you found me.
Tom Sullivan. Just a few names and voices that got their start within earshot of Sacramento.
Sacramento's like a microcosm of the national picture.
Alex Cosper is a writer and radio historian with 30 years in the business.
I had always grown up.
And the claim to fame of ushering in the region's first alternative radio format.
It does take talent to make it to the national picture, but it's also who you know and it's who you're affiliated with. And if you're already part of a network that has a lot of reach.
I find it so repulsive.
Armstrong and Getty meet all those criteria.
Oh, red. That's not even a joke.
It's fun to get emails from people in Europe and Asia, and we talked to a guy in Nepal the other day who emails us all the time. And
He must have been really pissed off.
A&G is now a regional show in Sacramento and San Francisco. But with podcasting and phone apps,
I'm going to pee on this bush.
they found themselves suddenly on a constantly changing national stage.
Have you ever made a comment on a story?
But with none of the money that typically comes with a national show.
A lot of people listen on the podcast. We get nothing for that. Nobody makes any money off of this. It's just, you know. So basically, if you listen to the podcast, you're stealing from me. And more than that, you're stealing from my son, Sam. So I don't know how you sleep at night, but enjoy the podcast.
Mike in San Francisco. Hey, Mike.
They may be getting there in a non-traditional way, but Sacramento is a city that draws, develops, and boosts radio talent into higher profile arenas. Don Geronimo had a national show with Mike O'Mara.
I don't want to come off like a huckster DJ.
And chose Sacramento to launch his solo career.
Rob, Arnie, and Dawn.
Bitching and moaning.
Rob, Arnie, and Dawn are now heard in Reno, Sacramento, and Alaska, as well as picking up a new station on the ESPN radio network.
Right now, you order.
Sacramento loves to talk, and those who love to talk back seem to gravitate to the market.
Some towns, for some reason, not exactly sure, Sacramento's one of them. Chicago's one of them. There are some towns that are just great talk radio towns.
I just think people in this region have kind of a taste for discussion, and if it's lively and controversial, all the better.
And while popular podcasts may not draw dollars, they do draw the attention of syndicators.
You get a certain amount of buzz, people become aware of who you are and what you're doing, and they see the ratings you get, and you kind of burble up to the top eventually. Or sometimes it's as simple as,
I thought your people were sensitive.
Some big radio exec thinks you're the best show in the world, so he just pushes you through.
Pissing contest, I guess.
The team is now as focused on their future as they are on the topics of the day.
We've always resisted the idea of any sort of national syndication, so anytime it came our way, we would say no, because we didn't want to lose any of our local this or that. We've decided recently, partially because of podcasts and people listening online, we're already so spread out anyway.
It's such a fascinating time in media, and by fascinating, I mean terrifying, because nobody knows what's going to make money and how content's going to be delivered and how it's going to be paid for.
I mean, and that wasn't any sort of culture.
A diverse population in the nation's biggest state is another reason cited for talk radio success. Sacramento is a national microcosm, and what happens in our state house often is talked about on a national level anyway, and that makes the city a great training ground for a national show.